Hey, welcome to Joe's Multiverse. I'm Spider-Man. No, I'm not. Hey, welcome to Joe's Multiverse. I'm Joe, and today the universe that we're going to be visiting is Marvel Legends. We're going to be taking a look at the Cyborg Spiderman, the Target Exclusives Marvel Legend retro cardback Cyborg Spiderman. Really excited to be able to share this with you, to take a closer look at it. So let's get right into it. All right, here he is, looking fantastic. This package is very impressive. They always are with these retro card backs. Even if it's a figure that you're not all that into, you gotta appreciate the way that these packages look, and it really makes the figure pop. I love the artwork, the old school plastic bubble there that he's in. We got some read-ups there on the back. I hate to even take this out of the package. I used to hang these on the wall forever just to look at them because I just love the way they look. But the deal is, we can't take a closer look unless we crack it open. So let's take a closer look at Cyborg Spider-Man. Okay, we have a extra fisted hand in here in case you want two of the hands to be clenched up. And then we also have some whipping webbing here that you can use to do some of your dynamic posing. And here's the star of the show, Spidey himself. Looking very robotic, cyborgy. All right. Now, personally, I'm not really sure what's up with the headband. I could really go without that. And the banding around the thigh here, I know that comes down. There it is, a little bit. Nope, I guess not. I thought there might be a little some paint kind of chipping there, but it was just a little speck of something. I think he would have benefited from like an open spot here showing some cyborg type silver, or maybe the whole thigh being more looking like his arm, and instead of a headband, just the eye piece, or maybe even part of his head looking like it was replaced with some type of robotic metal. I thought that would maybe kind of look cool, because the headband really kind of throws me off, but I know that's how he's supposed to look, and so we were just going to go with that. But that's just my personal thoughts. He's not all that stable. I don't know if the weight of that arm is kind of pulling him over to the side, or what's going on with his feet, or if I'm just not balancing him all that great. But anyway, he's not looking too bad here. Those little stitches on there, I kind of feel like I might want to take a little paint. They're kind of hard to see. It looks like his face mask is stitched up a little bit. I think a little bit of a white paint to highlight those would do some good. I'm not seeing any sort of paint chipping or anything like that. He's got the Exorcist 360 going on here. Spider-Man is always able to have some good articulation. He's able to look up a good amount, look down. Not too much in the side to side. And this, I know, I can't remember who had this body mold originally, but it is a familiar one. It isn't the last retro Spider-Man that came out, so that is very cool. There's no use of a body mold that quickly. He's got pretty decent ab crunch, not as much as the last Spider-Man, which in my opinion is the best, or it's my favorite anyway. He can get his arms around. A little hesitant to spin him around too much because I don't want too much paint chipping, but we have that these nice butterfly joints in here. turning around, all your basic Spider-Man articulation going on, the double jointed elbows and the spinning of the hands and everything else. This side over here, yeah, it does look like it does go all the way around with that shoulder plate on him. I think I might do a black wash on here just a little bit, just to bring this out. I think would really benefit. He's got, yeah, he's got all the way around, just not all, nothing too fancy down there, but he does spin around. I really like this belt that he has on. It's a little Batman-esque, but I think it gives a little more realism, because if you were running around and swinging from the rooftops in a skin-tight, you know, costume, uniform, that you would kind of want a place to store, you know, some of those trackers he throws and extra webbing, because my Spider-Man from back in the day always had the wrist, you know, he created his own webbing, and he would run out in the middle of a chase or a fight, and he would have to go into his satchel and pull out some more webbing, or if he was out, then he wouldn't be able to do any webbing, so that would kind of put him in a predicament. So that always kind of lent to the story, and I always appreciated that. We have some good thigh swivel going on here. That bandage isn't getting in the way of anything. Of course, we have the double jointed knees, and he can not so much kick himself in the ass, but he can kick himself in the utility belt. And some ankle rocking and pivot and bending and all that good stuff. But a very decent figure, look very good with the other Spider-Mans on the shelf. You know, especially putting him next to a couple a little more obscure looking Spider-Man, having that guitar, and I have no idea what that is from. I've never seen a comic with him looking like he's fresh off the tour bus, and this other one with the Gamerverse, a very different looking Spider-Man. But I think, you know, putting him with a collection like this, or fellow Spider-Mans that don't quite resemble your classic looking Spider-Man, I think he fits right in, and I think it's amazing looking. I was on the fence for a little while if I wanted to get this Spider-Man. He kind of, especially with that headband, there's just something about it. The very first split second that I always kind of glance at him, I almost think it's a Christmas Santa Claus Spider-Man, because of the red on the top of his head and that white trim of the headband. It's almost like, is that a Santa hat? And it's like, no, of course it's a headband. But the more I kind of look at him, and the longer that I have him, with, you know, just getting him yesterday as far as this review is concerned, it's growing on me, and I'm glad that I have him, and I think he's very sought after, and he is an exclusive. So if you're looking for this, I would get to Target as soon as you can. Don't think I'll be putting him in any crouching positions. I know a lot of professional posers out there like to put him down low in some of those crouching you know, posing positions, but with him being kind of a cyborg, robotic looking Spider-Man, it just doesn't seem fitting. But that's just my personal preference. But I think setting him up on a shelf, or at least maybe taking some pictures of him next to Deathlock and characters like that, I think he'll fit right in, and I'm excited to have him on my Spider-Man shelf. I have a very special Spider-Man shelf that I made, and have all of my favorite Spider-Man figures on there, and he will be right at home on that shelf. So my overall thoughts on this Spider-Man is, if you're into this, especially if you grew up with the older figure from back in the day and you knew the stories of this Spider-Man and you're a collector of Marvel Legends or maybe just the Spider-Man figures, it's probably a must-have, and I would get out there and pick it up as soon as you can. There's a lot of very cool things about this figure with the utility belt and the cyborg arm, and the body mold fits right in if you want to do some of those nice poses that a lot of people out there like to do. It's a very fresh. The lines are very good on here. I love the design of the spider on his chest. It does have that peg hole in the back, so you could use some of those stands too, and then with the bottom pegs as well, you can put them on a stand and get them into some nice positions. The spider on the back doesn't look like it kind of lines up perfectly, but nevertheless, very cool. I won't be doing a ranking system for him, but a 1 out of 10, I'm gonna give this Spider-Man an 8. I think it's safe to say he deserves a solid 8 from Joe's Multiverse. So very, very cool. So that is the Cyborg Spider-Man. If you're wanting to get this guy, I suggest you get out there and pick him up. You don't want to regret missing out, which I have done on many of occasions with many figures. This is a very nice, pretty well articulated, beautiful figure. Well done on what it's going for. I still would like to see like the thigh, maybe some custom could be done or something like that, but I'm not going to be too picky because I wasn't super familiar with him in the first place, but I think he's going to look great on the shelf. So that is good old Cyborg Spidey. All right, if you haven't already, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Smack that bell so you're notified every time I come out with a new video, and I am coming out with new videos all the time. Seriously, all the time. All right, that's it for today in Joe's Multiverse. Join me again, and I will see you next time we enter the multiverse. See you later.